I don't know why I'm so nervous to go live today, but I am, for whatever reason. Um, I have a sort of new setup, so that may have something to do with it. Um, I have a brand new setup. Well, not like a brand new setup, but I just have a new desk, and so the wires are all different, and everything's just a little bit janky still. So there is that. Um, there is that. Sorry, I'm putting it in the Discord is what I'm doing. Um, so what have I done? So obviously we have smooth normals now, but you may see these creases inside. These like creases where the slices are. Basically those creases is every thread. Do you see what I mean? So going across, we have 8 threads right now. And so we're going to see creases, right? 6 creases in the inside. And so that's just the borders between threads. Now, why do we see borders? Is it something with the vertices not being, whatever? No, it has nothing to do with the vertices. It's actually just a normals issue. The normals are computed per thread because to avoid race conditions. So now what I have to do is I have to make a map that matches each border vertex to a border vertex on the other side. So that's going to be a pain in the ass. The brown is crazy. It's actually red. It's just kind of yellow lighting that I put on. But yeah, I think it's been cool. I especially like the one that I put in the smoothing is crazy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I am going to need to, of course, with the chunk borders, as I said, it is kind of bothering me that you have those issues. But I think other than that, it looks really cool. The thing that I put in the Discord was one that's cool. I'm trying to see if I can get something like it again. Yeah, I love this one too. I think I got something similar to this earlier. So basically, to explain what's happening here with the left and the right are not they're not being computed the same, right? So the one on the left is the main simulation, right? The thing on the right is actually just a different part of the equation, right? What is on the right is the raw weighted neighbor sums, right? So the convolution sums, we just simply sum them together. And so what you see on the right is actually before we basically sum it up, apply the growth step and all of that, this is just the raw what we got during our convolution. Tempo OS coded, yeah. Oh, it's another color. Yeah, so there's 3 different channels and they're all different colors. So if I do that, you're gonna see some red pop up. So channel 1 is green, channel 2 is red, and channel 3 is blue. Due to the volatility of Flowlenia, it's hard to really get a configuration that has all 3 colors inside of it because of how volatile it is. What you could do is you could play with the parameter space yourself and try to get a 3-channel configuration, right? Of course, I have the setting here where you can, of course, add a channel, or I broke it and you can't add a channel right now. Yeah, I have to fix the UI. Anyway, what I'm just doing is I'm pressing the random button, and it just generates a new configuration with, some, good ranges for some values, right? But yeah, I think it's come a long way. I really want to get it to be faster than it is currently. Yo, what's up, Switzerland? So that's gonna be my next thing, is trying to make it faster. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Probably some simmed. But of course smoothing the normals is also important. Apparently what I'm doing is not very cache friendly with the normals, so I have to make it better. It is kind of, you know, sketchy what I'm doing. Oh, you saw some blue there. You did see some blue there. Anyway, I could just play with this for hours because, you know, not only pressing the random button, but, you know, messing with all the parameters and stuff is also, like, incredibly, you know, fun. But, kind of does look like slime now. Okay, anyway, so that's all of that. That's where I got. That's over the past 2 days when I haven't been streaming. Yo, what's up, Hex? Trying to remember your old name, but I can't remember it. It's in there somewhere. It's in my fucking head somewhere. It's in my fucking head somewhere. Is it Sleepy? No. That was the other guy. Whatever, bro. So that's where I got. So it's my birthday today. It is my birthday today. Which is pretty awesome. I'm old now. My PC is running Windows XP. How? Because I have Windows XP on it. Merry Birthmas, thank you. I am unfortunately getting up there, dude. I'm unfortunately getting up there. I'm old, I have a beard. Man. Life, bro. Fucking life, bro. Okay, so goals for today. Goals for today are I want to separate our draw buffers per thread. I already did this, and then I pressed the undo button on it because I was raging. But I shouldn't have done that. And it's important to recognize one's mistakes. Right now what we're doing is we're literally going into different parts of the draw buffer based on our offsets per thread. Now this sounds fine on paper, but it may be bottlenecking us because of, you know, just the raw amount of bullshit we have to do with it. I also think that we don't even have to do it also makes sense because then we won't have to deal with this going straight into it. I can just mem copy into the buffer once, and apparently that's more efficient driver wise for DirectX. So instead of doing all the normal math per vertex like this is disgusting what I'm doing here, obviously. I just wanted to prove the concept. Instead of doing any of this, what I'm instead going to do is just like do it on a local version of the buffer, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So how did I get the smooth normals? Okay, well, I made this edge array, which is, as you can see, very cursed right now. We have to make it SOA, of course. Basically what this edge array is it is every point that we have emitted previously, but it's indexed by axis because of our voxels, right? And so we look at the axis, right, and we get a unique position for each point in here. And if we have emitted a point before, we simply use the index for that point. However, of course, we have to index it by max threads to avoid race conditions, something I was unfortunately, you know, struggling with over the past couple of days was it not drawing correctly because of the race conditions. Oh my god, my coffee is right next to you, the webcam. Okay. So, first order of business, the easiest part of this is to actually just like straight up do SOA on the struct itself. So that's what I'm going to do now. Yeah, I don't understand this song. You gotta stop going, you gotta stop going off key, bro. It's unnerving to me. Okay. So on thread data, I think I'm gonna put it, there have been whispers.
I feel like Sherlock Holmes. I think if anything, I'd be Sherlock.
I saw Final Destination 5 last night. I don't know why I wanted to see it. Wait, hold on, no. You just... Wait, what? No, you just do it like this. And then you just allocate it. And that's per axis. Bro, I don't know how to program. Don't ask me how to program. Okay. I think that's... Wait, hold on. So this has to be per thread, which it already is, and then per axis, and then per view. So this is per axis, and then you need 3 of these per thread data. So like that. And then you just allocate this once. Okay, how fucking cursed is this, though? This is like the most cursed thing I've ever done. Okay. It's fine, though. Right, we have to loop through it. You hate to see it. Whatever I'm doing right now, you do not want to know what it is. You do not want to know what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now should not be legal. In all the other news, I have committed to reading CSAPP, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So, now why have I committed to reading CSAPP? Because I'm pretending to be a good programmer. Where's my cleanup function? Oh, there's my cleanup function. So what you're telling me is I have to loop through all the threads, which I already do there, and I'm like incredibly stupid. We're just gonna free the like that. Have you ever called free on nothing before? It's pretty crazy. Okay, we're all happy with it. I love how this is just great. What I did here is great. It may look bad, but I think that it's better than having the 5D array. I think. Okay, but mem setting it to -1 becomes a bit crazy. Do you think? Because now you have to do it per thread. Isn't that crazy? That's a bit crazy. The good thing though is that you can do this and it should be the exact same size. No, no, it has to be times 3 times 3. Because it's max threads times view times... No, we already have this 3 at the end here. Okay, don't mind me. I'm just being stupid. Okay, now we just have to change every reference to that variable to this new variable. I think it's by axis and then by, no, it's by view and then axis. Does that work? Is this... Yeah, I think it works. It's kind of disgusting, but it is contiguous. Okay. Word up. Alright, I have no clue if this is gonna work. Alright, where are the errors? Tell me where the errors are. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Oh wait, what am I doing? Is it? That can't be right. That cannot be right. Is it really this? This cannot be correct, right? What the fuck is this memory layout, bro? Alright, that's not it either. I just made the most complicated memory layout of all time. This is not correct. Oh wait, no, I'm just being, I'm so stupid. 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 I'm just being really dumb. It's flattened, so you have to do this. What the fuck is wrong with me? Oh, it's kind of cursed what I have to do here. The fuck is that memory layout, dude? Wait, what? This is still... Oh, I missed a... Did I miss another one? Oh. Okay. Why is kernel vert not a thing? Oh no. I'm slightly worried now that I have ran out of memory. Which would not be good. That would not be good. Let me... it's here. Ah, shit. I don't know why. I don't know why it lets me stack allocate it, but it's a problem if I malloc this. It like starts freaking out that I'm like, I have too much memory. It's like, dude, it's a bunch of fucking integers. Like, give me a break. Oh my god. Hey, what's up, Tools? Thanks. Nice to see you too. Yeah. I'm out of memory. Well, I think the only solution here is to literally just like stack allocate it and just make it another struct. Can't I just like type def is this legal for me to do? Because this is what I really want to do right now. Yo, what's up, Oops? Nice to see you. I don't even think that this is legal for me to do, by the way. But this is what I want to do. But it's probably not legal for me to do it, but we're gonna pretend like it is for a second. Windows XP tough? Yeah, it is. It is pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. Yeah, so this is so cursed and we can get rid of it now, I think. Is this now? No. So if that doesn't work, then I'm just gonna make a struct with it and then like just keep it stack allocated, because we cannot it's not gonna allow me to do that, is it? Yeah, it's gonna give me like a ton of errors. Yeah. I hear what you're saying loud and clear. I know what I'm doing here is cursed as hell. Okay, we'll just make it a struct then. Yeah. Now, yeah, this is completely fine. We're just making a struct with one member inside of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's normal. The idea is to keep all the memory contiguous. And unfortunately, because we can't allocate, because Windows XP is awesome, we just have to do this. Yeah, I know. I know who you are. I always remember names. Yeah, Visual Studio 2008 is awesome. I really do like it. So we don't have to do this anymore. Why isn't this working though? IntelliSense is mad at me, which is probably just means that it straight up isn't going to work. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, this is okay. I get what you're saying there. I do get what you're saying there. Oh my god, we compiled. Okay, but this is still out of memory. Wait, how? Oh my god. Why? Yeah, I mean, I think that we may just like straight up be out of memory, but I want to make sure that it is that before I like freak out. Maybe I changed something else by accident and that like had a cascade effect on it. I get rid of this. and just straight up just try to render like nothing, because DirectX 9 is freaking out. Okay, stop. Move from writer to MSVC. Really? Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm used to that with a GLSL analyzer. Like, it doesn't detect syntax at all. Like, I never get any syntax highlighting or whatever in my shader stuff. So it's always been like a blind spot for me. Always. This is bizarre. I'm just gonna run it back. I mean, we didn't even write that much code, so it's fine. I may have just like changed something and then forgot what I changed. I want to see if this is, if I put this back. Okay, so this does go back. Okay, so okay. What? Is it just debug mode that's the problem? No. That's bizarre, to be honest. Let me try like not threading as much. Try like 3 threads. That's crazy that you had that though. I'm just so used to not having that completely. Wow, yeah, I never had any autocomplete. Yeah, it working like only 1% of the time is probably really annoying, yeah. That is probably pretty sucky. This does kind of suck though, because okay, so I mean, I guess, I mean, I ran back like all of the changes I did today, and it still doesn't work, and so at this point yeah, that's not good. So basically what's happening is that it's not allocating the buffer. So DirectX 9 just literally isn't allocating this buffer. Which is just like really not good. Like it allocates everything else, right? No, it doesn't. Wait, what? It doesn't allocate anything. It allocates the first thing only. Do I back up my projects? Yeah, but like not like all the time. But I mean, I literally didn't write any code today. So it was working like 10 minutes ago, so that must mean that yeah, it is bizarre though that this isn't. Computer just being evil, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it just literally doesn't allocate the buffer. Yeah, I think it was probably all your, like, temporal shit, bro. It fucked up the timeline. Yeah, it almost makes you want to, like, turn it off and on again. Is it possible that... No, this didn't change. The fact that it's only allocating one buffer makes me think that it's allocating way more than it should be. Is there any chance... No, I didn't put anything else in here. This is all normal. So yeah, I should implement TAA on this thing. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, that's just, this is just crazy. Yeah. I want to see if I, like, if I allocate even less, if it allocates the second buffer, or if it's literally just... Yeah, it does. Okay. Is there a chance that I change grid width and grid height? No, this is the same it's always been. Maybe max channels 3, but no, this still goes out. The reason why this is 3 is because it's 3 views, so it has to be that. TA did do well with random noise. Pretty much only for foliage. Yeah, I feel like there's still probably some interesting stuff you can do with it for sure. I wonder what the, especially with the light and dark stuff, like when you went in that vent and it was like light inside, but it was actually just the light from outside. That was like incredibly cool. That was really, really sick. Let me look up if I can increase the memory. Okay, so it literally just says, "Oh, put a bigger size in the size. Put a bigger size. Allocate a bigger size." Like, my whole problem is that I'm allocating a size that's too big. This managed flag is supposed to help, but I haven't had good chance stuff happen with it before. Now yeah, this... Now that just doesn't work. Okay, well... I don't know, at this point, I'm willing to close the project, but I'm very confused. I think it's like straight up a D3D issue, and it's not really my fault, but yeah, it is kind of annoying. Yeah, I already changed all of the edge info and the TD back, so probably isn't that, is it? Yeah, I don't have any of the new stuff there, so I ran all of that back. I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna be like so pissed at myself for it later. First of all, this doesn't do anything, so I can get rid of that. Maybe I should try turning it off and on again. Man, I would love it if I just got on here and things just work. Gotta make an inclusion mask for the stuff TAL doesn't resolve well. Most AAA games nowadays cram TAA. Really? I don't really play AAA games, but from what I saw, it looked super cool. Especially the stuff where it was like jiggling the camera. That stuff looked cool. At least to me. I think like weird stuff like that is cool. Yeah, I mean, I might as well just close it and redo it. I doubt that that's gonna help. Oh yeah, I've heard about DLSS. I guess I'm kind of stuck in the past with it, but it does seem really cool. I like the idea of like you know, going across multiple frames and doing stuff like that. I guess that was what you were talking about with the velocity buffer thing. I had no clue that that was a thing, to be honest. That sounds pretty cool to me. As part of modern G buffer. Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, of course I know about all the material stuff, but I didn't know that that was that was a thing. I'm almost wondering like if it is okay, so it is getting my I wanted to make sure that it was getting my GPU, because that honestly could affect it somehow, I guess. Yeah, I guess we could just like run through the backup as well, but yeah, sure, why not? This is actually here. Where would this be? Render, yeah, let's check it out. I mean, I don't know how long ago this thing was, but the fact that it's failing here, is so confusing that it's not allocating the buffer. Motion vectors, motion blur. I see. That makes sense that it would go over multiple frames, I guess. How do you accumulate that though? Do you just literally, like, if it's a velocity buffer, it's more than just like adding, right? It's like it's direction too, and like the speed at which pixels are changing, I guess. I don't know. So it does this one, but then it refuses to create a back buffer. It refuses to create a back buffer. History buffer. I see. That sounds awesome. It sounds really cool. I kind of wish I had like a newer computer to play with that stuff. That does sound like a lot of fun. With the vectors and stuff. That does sound pretty crazy. I didn't really know that they had that stuff, but I guess it makes sense to the extent of like motion blur, stuff like that. To be honest, I don't think most motion blur is good. I wonder how they did motion blur back in the day though. It must have been a lot different. I'm sure that it was something similar that went like over multiple frames though. I'm gonna assume. I'm gonna assume. It's so weird because it obviously is a matter of memory. Like if I set all of this to 1, right? It's gonna allocate it. It will allocate this. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Allocates all of it. T3DCO. Yeah. Yeah, it's all allocated now. The motion pictures. So I warped the UV from the previous frame. Okay. Then I check if the UV is within the texture space. Okay. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm trying to like picture that in my head. um, that does sound really difficult to do. But I guess it's dependent on those motion vectors. I don't even know how you would calculate that. Is it just literally the way the camera is moving in this case? Oh, I see. So it also has to do with like neighboring pixels as well. Build a paging or streaming system. Yeah, I think I might actually have to restart my computer. I think that might actually be the problem. I know that sounds stupid, but at least on the Stack Overflow thing, I may like have fucked up the memory somehow. If that passes, then we plan. Previous frame. The neighbor check is to mitigate ghosting. I see. I see. Yeah. That's really awesome though. That you have like this I guess that's why it's like it's kind of like anti-aliasing, right? Because you're checking the neighboring stuff. That is pretty awesome. You're pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. That's awesome. Yeah. The motion vector is very easy to make. You need the current frame's camera and the model matrix. Right. Yeah, yeah. I assumed it was something like that. I also assumed that you could just like do it. Yeah, it's literally just, you know, the change in the camera direction, yeah. That's crazy though. I wonder if it's possible to do something similar with other moving objects though. You know, rather than just the camera direction. That could be interesting. Like if you could technically do it with like any motion vector and not just the camera, right? If you have like an object that moves from point A to point B, it's not just camera direction, really? Oh, because you could be moving, right? Yeah. Yeah. That too. That too. It's all models, really? I see. So is it encoded like is it encoded like I guess per pixel then? Yeah, I know what a G buffer is, yeah. Okay, see, now you know that does piss me off because I sat here for like 30 minutes trying to figure it out, and it's not even my fault, and it's literally just DX9 fucked its own memory up somehow. Oh my god, that does piss me off. That does really piss me off, actually. Oh my god. Yeah, I guess what I should be doing is I shouldn't be like force quitting out because uh, applications at this stage of computing didn't really know how to clean up after themselves. Use the model matrix in the previous frames one, so it does pick up on moving objects. I see. I do see that. I get it. That does make sense. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that then it's it is like a literal texture then. What I guess I assumed was that it was literally just a direction, but yeah. Oh yeah, so I was gonna put this in the cleanup now. We have to get rid of all of this. That is crazy, yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be fun to implement all that. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Exactly, yeah. I am kind of just, really blind to the whole. I never implemented like deferred rendering or gbuf or anything, so I almost did, but I didn't end up doing it because I literally don't have enough VRAM on my computer to do it anyway. The camera jitter over multiple frames gives a multi-sample. Oh, okay, so that's what it's for. Yeah, I saw the example. I do suck at reading, so I probably, missed the part where they said that it's basically MS. But yeah. That is yeah, so back to what I was supposed to be doing. I also have to write logic to cancel out the jitter. Oh, interesting. So you basically store your jitter itself, and then your motion vectors will vibrate. So you have to store the directions that you're jittering and then counteract them perfectly. That sounds difficult. I wonder if there's like floating point imprecision in terms of like, really. Yeah. It is really interesting how that works because you'd think that you would just be able to look at the neighbors, I guess, but I guess that's not how it works out. I never could really wrap my head around the whole MSAA thing, because I don't know. It's a bit. I have to use very precise buffers. Interesting. I'm assuming you use doubles and not floats then. But yeah. That's 3, right? MSA is just a toggle. Yeah, but by multi-sample, that's what MSA is, right? And then you have edges inside of this, and edges is a struct. The velocity is stored in 32 float. Okay, got it. Yeah, what I'm doing here is super fucking cursed, but apparently this is how you're supposed to do it. So it's gonna have... Apparently this is more cache friendly than having a 5D array. Because it's all contiguous. Man, it's annoying when there's a bug like that where, like, it's not even my fault. It's just the... So this is axis, and then this is view. Velocity and position buffers need to be high quality. Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine. That's an intense amount of stuff. A new GPUs really like amaze me with how they're able to handle that. Like that's crazy. Yeah, so let's just write this as T. That is really cool. It doesn't work well in deferred rendering. Why is that? Do you use deferred? Or do you use forward? G buffer is deferred, right? I can't really remember. It's been a while since I did that. There's gonna be I for the view. Dot. I use your G buffer for forward effects. Yeah, from what I understood, right? It's like a G buffer technically could be used during deferred if you're doing like material stuff as well. But of course for deferred it's like the whole point of deferred, right? Because you build up the G buffer layers and then you do it later. Also use G buffer is needed, yeah. How do you do your lighting currently? Okay, we are not drawing anything. Okay. Yeah, I've got to figure out why the exiting isn't working. We're not drawing anything. Oh, why? You know, we're not drawing anything because this is, yeah. Get rid of this. I'm gonna figure that out. I never actually, set that to -1. I also never set these, yeah. So it's basically this, but we can just straight up memset it now. Memset TD edges -1 size of int times 3 times 3 times this. Yes. Yeah. Oh, uh, it's we're not talking about this project. Um, we're talking about a game engine on modern hardware. There's a lot of my forward render is the most complete. I see. I see. I saw a lot of discourse on like if forward rendering is better than deferred or whatever. I think deferred, the idea behind deferred always seemed neat to me though. I think this is faster. Pixels, so it really does just nothing. It's pretty awesome though. It's pretty awesome that that you've got all that stuff going on. That's it's pretty crazy to do all that yourself. The forward and deferred rendering stuff. That's pretty awesome. Forward rendering is way more expensive, less flexible. Wait, does lighting? It's so much more sharp. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought, that like deferred is like more, efficient on modern GPUs, but like that forward lets you do more, interesting stuff with lighting, I guess. I wonder, I also like, I feel like deferred has to like be really bad on like lower end GPUs with like less VRAM, right? It has to be, right? Do much more passes and do all crazy things. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't know. The furthest I went into like doing a G buffer was like, getting all the textures sort of like accumulating and stuff. But then my computer couldn't even run it, and I was like, okay, well, it's kind of out of my. But that does seem really cool. I don't know. I read some very interesting things about like really efficient ways to do lighting in terms of like the deferred passes, that like you can multi-thread lighting. I saw this paper on like multi-thread lighting in like different quadrants of the screen, um, which was pretty crazy. Um, I kind of went over my head, obviously, because I don't really have like an insane amount to say things about it. But yeah, checkerboard rendering. I don't know. I don't remember what it was called. It was like a recent paper, right? Um, where, yeah, I don't know if it was checkerboard, but yeah, I posted it in the Learn in the Discord like a long time ago. Um, but yeah, that was super interesting for me to see. Uh, I don't know. I find stuff like that so interesting, like how people are able to like blend CPU with GPU. Is that stuff really blows my mind. I really love how you're able to, like, right now in this project, right? Like I have CPU meshing that is, you know, um, talking to the GPU, right? I don't plan moving to a language like Vulkan. I see. Yeah, you wouldn't believe how many times people like, come onto the stream and are like, "Oh, OpenGL, why don't you use Vulkan?" And right now I'm on DirectX 9, right? And the people are like, "Oh, you don't use OpenGL or whatever." It's like, I don't know. For my ray tracer, I see. Really? You don't have You don't have one of those like modern RTX GPUs or whatever? One of the NVIDIA things? I don't know anything about that stuff, but I'd be surprised how much you get done. Oh, really? I had no clue. Even modern OpenGL? That's crazy. Well, I mean, I don't know. By ray tracing acceleration, do you mean like, you're not talking about like ray tracing at all, of course, right? Yeah, why am I doing this? It's not grid size. I literally have the code right fucking here that I'm writing. Yo, what's up, Max? RT pipeline is reserved for Vulkan. I see. Yeah, I don't even know what RT acceleration entails necessarily.
When your kid is hurting and there's nothing you can do about it.
OpenGL's design doesn't work well with ray tracing. I see. Does it make you want to switch to Vulkan, or are you just like, you know, Vulkan, is a pain in the ass, so that only have a few jobs and are designed to do them very fast. I see. I see. What exactly is ray tracing? I wouldn't know. I would not know. You're asking the wrong person. She'll probably know though. I'm like completely blind to all of that stuff though. Yo, what's up, Pikuris? Thank you so much for the help with that simmed the other day. That was really, really helpful. Yeah, I mean, you totally got it right. So the problem I was having with it, like mentally, right, was that I had written this code a long time ago in simmed, and I used horizontal addition and horizontal subtraction, and that's not available on SSE2. And so I was like trying to figure out how I could do that, and so I was doing all these shuffles and shit. But yeah, I had no clue about that sign thing. It's like, that totally blew my fucking mind. So I am committing to reading CSAPP though, so that I can be less blind to that stuff. Idea shooting array. Yeah. Yo, thanks, Coco. Thank you. What am I doing, Lock-in? Yeah, so we're doing this per thread now, and we're not going to be doing this. We have to mem set this per, yeah, we're just going to mem set it per thread. This looks expensive what I'm doing, but it's really not. It's like the only mem setting that we do per frame. We just do B size. Yeah, IB. And then we'll just go into here. We'll just go into here. And then we'll accumulate. I already wrote the code that did this, and then I deleted it all because I was pissed off. But I was... If you have... All you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Exactly. Exactly, yeah. That is exactly it. Yeah, ray tracing is really, really cool to me. I also like how the what it looks like without all the correction stuff is like all the dots. I like think that that looks super cool. It looks like one of those, you know, games that they have nowadays with the, you know, like the horror games or whatever with the, you know, the dots that you flash the camera or whatever. That shit looks super cool to me. So oh yeah, so we're just going into TV here. The good thing about this is that it's a buffer that is not on the GPU. It's a purely CPU thing. And so we can do this in a much better way. Yeah, so actually what we want to do, this code is actually wrong. I just realized this just reading through it. This is supposed to, we're adding a normal here twice. Because we go in here and then we don't do it separately. So that's good to notice. Okay, so yeah, what we're doing here is kind of like annoying that I have to do it this way, but I don't think that there's a way. I mean, I'm just following their example, so I guess we could try and see. But I assumed that you couldn't just make a vec3 inside of here. Like here? Maybe it's fine though. Let's try it. It might mess everything up. But technically this should specify this to be a little layout, even though it's not the same type. So I think it should be fine. Yo, what's up, Neural? Nice to see ya. Remember the hit It is not an easy thing to compute. I would never assume that it is a very easy thing to compute. You are speaking a completely different language to me. Sorry, I'm reading all the ray tracing stuff. All that stuff goes right over my head. That's just my debug normals, and then this is the real thing. Hopefully that this is like less bad cache, me doing it this way. I don't know, I assume that like adding 3 times is slower than adding once, but maybe the compiler doesn't care. Okay, so hopefully that works. Now all we have to do is change this here. So now it's just tvi dot normal equals n, like that. Hardware to do collisions on the GPU. Yeah, I heard about the pre-made ray tracing stuff. Like somebody was in here a while ago that was talking about like them using just pre-made ray tracing stuff, and I was like, really? They just have that built into the GPU now? You can optimize when you encounter an issue later with the math stuff. Yeah. Oh. I found an old processor manual, really old. I want to add an assembler. Dude, that's awesome. That's so sick. I think my next project is going to be something similar. I want to like do an emulator for something. Okay. Oh. What? What are we? Okay, stupid me not being in debug mode, so I can't actually even know what's going on here. Really started sketching some ideas, yeah. I have no clue how to do that emulation stuff, but I'm super... That's what I want to do next, really. Okay, that's a big number, but I feel like that's actually inbounds, believe it or not. Maybe it's not, though. Okay, maybe you can't do this. Oh, wait a second, wait a second. No, we probably can. It's just that I didn't do the accumulation code into here. So we're unlocking and locking a buffer for no reason. Yeah, I just forgot to write the code. The manual's older than you? I mean, maybe it's older than me too, I don't know. Look at his design for indirect. Yeah, I definitely had to reinvent the wheel with my engine for OpenGL 2 in that same way. I basically made a command buffer. That's what I did, right? Is that my renderer was built out of materials that weren't just like drawing materials, but literal like draw passes, and I would just call them within a buffer with different like parameters. That's just the OpenGL way. Okay, so we have to copy them in again, and I have to remember how I did that shit. Okay, the good thing though, okay, so that's something, right, is that, oh yeah, that's probably why we're going out of bounds actually, is this B offset. You don't add this anymore because it's all local to the thing. SSBO for global scene, yeah. Yeah, I feel like that, doing stuff like that probably just like kills performance. But maybe not, I don't know. I was always sketchy about like SSBOs in general, like being overused. Like I feel like in OpenGL people end up using that a lot when, I don't know. It's a pretty dangerous thing to be doing, but yeah, so I'm basically just like getting yeah, so we're gonna have two offsets. We'll loop through the threads and then add on to it. Actually planning to make indirect drawing. Yeah. I'm not sure if what I had was indirect per se, but it would definitely like had a command queue, you know, like what you're talking about with the render queue. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, I had the same structure. It was disgusting in the end. I had from what I remember, right, is that I had those materials, right, and then those mapped to different different things, different vertex layouts, different different render properties, different render passes, like a bunch of different other things. Oh, of course, buffers, right? To draw from, right? So, and shaders. So yeah, it's all mapped like that. Painful indeed. Yeah, I think it just can mem copy straight into V. Yeah, does V exist, by the way? That is a thing up here, right? Yeah, it does. Would be awesome to see me code an emulator. I think that might be what I do next. I want to do something that's actually like, I don't know. Useful? I don't know if I want to call it that, but yeah. Oh, multi-draw indirect. Yeah, exactly. Multi-draw indirect. Or the MDEI, multi-draw elements indirect, which is even more cursed. Yeah, I tried to do that, but honestly I think I failed. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so this is going to be TDI. So the reason why we have to do it this way is because we have to correct the indices in post, basically. We have to make them assigned to the offset inside of the global buffer now. So that's what I'm doing. Oh. Yeah, IB J plus index offset. Because it's one draw call, you can only use one shader. I see. I see. I see. Yeah, so that I never actually did that. I set up the buffer layout and the enum and all that for MDEI and MDI or MDI and MDAI or whatever, but I never actually implemented it because I don't know, all the indexing stuff just seems so complicated for even just the parameters to do it. I just didn't wrap my head around it properly. Yeah, TDI dot IB index by J plus the index offsets. Yeah, and then we just go vertex offset. I think that's it. Oh, but how do we know what the Oh yeah, this is what I did last time. So you gotta actually make these a front and a back buffer. Also, all of these are actually arrays as well. I just forgot that again. I know that this looks cursed, but it's actually necessary. What I do indirect draws, crazy effects, in ways it's not meant to be used. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you can use it any way you want. I think that that's why I like OpenGL though, is because it's simple, but like you have to kind of work for it, you know? I like the fact that it's not like just like an API where you can just be like, oh yes, do this, you know? I like the fact that you have to make the structure, and yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but that's what I liked about it, was like the making this whole system full of, you know, all of these different components that had to communicate with each other to be efficient. That's what I loved about it. So I know it gets a lot of shit, and you know, back when I was doing it, everybody was like, if you want a graphics programming job, do Vulkan. And it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe I just want to program though. Yeah. Yeah, so that has to be a global. I already had it here. Okay, well, I'm fucking stupid, my bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I like about it, about OpenGL. No, it's here. I'm just being dumb. Okay, so now in the draw call, all I have to do is we don't actually even loop through anymore. All we literally do is this at the bottom. Just get rid of everything else. It's draw index primitive with no offset to v offset, an offset of 0, because they're all contiguous now. I offset. Okay, let's see the errors. Okay, shut up. What's the problem? Oh, right. Why are you spamming else if statements on the input function instead of adding the inputs to a vector and normalizing it? I don't know what you're talking about, but as with most things in life, it's probably for a different reason than you would expect. One of the reasons I refuse to move to Vulkan. Oh man. It's a noble goal. It's a noble goal. Unresolved external symbol. Did I not put it here? Yo, what's up, Gur? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the render queue is crazy. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm indexing wrong. I'm indexing it so wrong. Oh, fuck. You know what's crazy? Before this engine, I followed a simple OpenGL tutorial. Yeah, I was the same way. Like, I basically just did, like, a few OpenGL things, and then I just, like, decided to make the engine. Like, it wasn't a, it wasn't, you know, some sort of I read a book thing at all. Yeah, I also had the same thing. Let's make sure that my yeah, I had this still. That's why. Am I going to add blend func shading yet? I don't really think so, to be honest. Yeah, but the reason I'm spamming if-else statements here is because I've edge deduplication that I obviously don't want to add normals twice. That's why. Okay, we're still indexing wrong. Oh yeah, B offset, I set it to 0 anyway, so that can't be the issue. Alright, let me make sure that it's contiguous. My input function? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe this doesn't work. Yeah, I don't like doing anything the easy way. That's for sure. It's not a function that takes an input and moves the camera. No, I mean that function is like down here. It adds move speed, and then that's in camera.c here, where I do this matrix stuff. It's over there. Oh, you know what? I'm not mem setting it as well. I need to do the mem set stuff on it before we... but it shouldn't really matter, actually. Because we're only using this one area. Should probably make sure that this works, actually, with one... one thing. I implemented Discord integration in my own custom engine, but since I'll be invaded by Pinocchio's Palantir. World politics. Yeah, they could not pay me enough fucking money to work for a defense company. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Yeah, that shit is something that I will never, never be okay with, dude. That shit is disgusting. Yeah, I mean, the math looks fine, but I'm probably doing something wrong. I want to try just single-threaded. Yeah, single-threaded is fine. I wonder... So... The normals seem wrong, though. The normals seem very wrong. Temporal accumulation in my ray tracer. Yeah, I think that temporal stuff that you were showing off was super cool, for sure. Okay, so this is 2 threads. See how half of it is cut off? So that thread just is straight up not drawing. Could try that. All right, let's walk through it and see what's going on. Okay. So the last one was 0. Okay. Okay. Looks incredibly interesting, thanks. I just want to make sure that, you know, it starts drawing something. Okay, there we go. So it's drawing something now, and now I wanna start breakpointing it. So yeah, so this is 0, and I want to like see. I get that. I want to see. So this is 7, 8. Okay, so that is it is getting it in 0. 82, 801, 0. What is it of 3 and not 2? Yeah, I will put it on GitHub. Maybe in a couple of weeks once it's done. Are you like a Minecraft endermite? Dust like a no. I'm more like a dust mite that gets into your nose and causes you to have an allergy attack. That's what I'm like. Wait, so what's the V offset at this point? 9385? Why are we going in 3 times if I only have 2 threads? That's very interesting. Wait, what? 0? 9, 4? 18. What? I mean that's just bizarre. Do I listen to Alamo? No. Oh yeah, that's what I got on right now. What system I'm running? On my computer that I stream from, I have a Surface Book 2. And what I run Windows XP on is an old like 2010 computer. with like a Ryzen 200 in it. Yeah, one day I'll get a new computer when I pay off my debt. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that... Okay, so it's one of two things. I'm either not writing into the right... I'm writing into the right VIDX here. Definitely. Oh, fuck. Well, that's supposed to be that. For first. The day you get a new computer, I recommend looking into newer effects. Yeah, I definitely will. One day. For sure. For now though, like, while I think that all that stuff is like super neat, I love like challenging myself to implement hard stuff and like old hardware, like what I'm doing right now. Like, it's so much fun for me to like try and get it to like 30 FPS and like do simmed and all of this, to just like try and edge out every single like bit of performance that I can get. And doing what I'm doing now is, which is kind of cursed, to like stitch the normals together over thread boundaries, is kind of like, it's just not like, you know, other programming. It's kind of, you know. Then again, it obviously like is a pain, for sure. Very basic ray tracer. Really? That's awesome, to be honest. That gives me some hope. I mean, not really, but I think I'd need like at least like a 3060 to do it, or maybe like a 2070 or something. Newer Intel. That's kind of incredible though. I would not expect that, to be honest. You're 1650? Yeah, I've got like a 1080. I've got a 1080 on my laptop, so it isn't 4070 is a beast. That is a beast. Yeah, sorry for everybody watching. This is not very exciting. Just making me read my own code a billion times just to try and figure out what the issue is. I do mem set it to 0, right? I do absolutely do. I think B size is the correct amount, right? B size is, yeah. B size is 15, yeah. Your previous GPU was 1080, yeah. 1080 is really not the best. But that's why I kind of liked making a game engine with it, because it was like genuinely very challenging. Really? That's kind of incredible. I assumed that that would be really impossible to do, but, you know, I'm not like the smartest person alive. I'm gonna try like copying it by hand as well. Is this correct? Yeah, I think it is correct. So strange. Maybe my draw call is incorrect. I don't know. Solverts. Yeah, let's see what it actually gives me here. Well, yeah, it's, you kind of have to get it. You think? I feel like ray tracing is probably a harder math, but I don't know. $14 7 8. We should be starting at 0, and it should be fine to start at 0. It should be fine to start at 0. What are 6503 5812 0? This is 42. Yeah. Yeah, it has to be pretty challenging. For sure. $6803 to 7281. 38. I feel like I'm gonna like be so pissed once I figure out whatever the problem is here. Oh my god. This is supposed to be V offset. Oh, yeah. Just a logical error in my brain there. That took me forever to figure out. I'm supposed to be offsetting by the vertex number so that we can refer to the correct point in the buffer. Yeah, sorry. I'm stupid sometimes. That took me like 20 minutes of reading it over and over again to figure out. Over the deal, you don't see any of the benefits? Yeah. I see. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. It might be like a fun challenge for me, for sure. It might be a fun challenge, for sure. The normals do look worse, to be honest, than they did before. Which is probably a sign that I'm doing something dumb. Maybe it's one of two things. It's either the if-else statement or or it just, we can't do this as a Vec 3 like I thought. I'm not stupid if I'm capable of understanding it. Well, thank you. It does take me like a long time of like reading my own code to figure it out. Maybe this is what it's supposed to look like, and I just got it. No, it used to be a lot smoother than this. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure that it's this way of going about things as a Vec 3. I assumed though, what I assumed is that if I had it contiguous in the struct, that D3D would be able to just see it and be like, you know, oh, that's a normal. Like if I put it here and I just specify that, that's what I assumed. But maybe the padding is different for a Vec 3. And I don't know how to align it, so. See people run real-time ray tracing? Really? Yeah, I might do it. I don't know, I've been kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I gotta like do something, I don't know. Like, I've gotta like do something with my life in terms of like turning my what I love doing, which is programming, into like some sort of thing where I can make money. So I've been like trying to think about like what can I do in terms of a project that's actually like useful, instead of like, hey, let's program a, you know, a cellular automata on Windows XP because fuck it. How's DX9? DX9 is cool. So I really like this era of programming in general, because everything is just super simple and bare bones. You're not really expected to do things in a shader. A lot of it is, how does the CPU, how much rendering stuff can we do on the CPU? Because GPUs just weren't that, you know, insane back then, right? And so it leads you into a lot of situations like where you're doing what I'm doing here, which is like doing all of the mesh, you know, stuff like multi-threaded on the CPU. You also had like all the stuff where you did lighting at this point actually on the CPU. The lighting for my scene is not a shader. It's literally like a hardware like lighting thing where you can create lights and place them with a bunch of different parameters. Have I seen real-time CPU ray tracers? I have. I don't know how they get that to run like well though. Yeah, exactly. I love vertex lighting. On my PS1 game, that's, you know, what I did was this like I did vertex lighting. Basically, you know, reverse engineered it into PS1. So I love the aesthetic of it, and that's what we have here, is just per vertex lighting. Now, smoothing the normals is something else entirely. It's not exactly, you know, the easiest thing, but so actually I'm just coding what I literally just programmed here already. But yeah, I mean, Windows XP DX9 was my childhood. Like, my first game was Splinter Cell on my dad's computer. I like Unreal 2. So this era is like very kind of important to me. Buy hardware to make IoT things? What is IoT? Oh yeah, we're good with that. That constructor works fine. What doesn't work fine is that we have to do this also down here, which is super cursed. Yeah, we have to do this again. Yeah, I was trying to avoid this, but apparently it doesn't work. Really? That I don't know what that is? Sorry. What is the Internet of Things? Am I ignorant? Yeah, so this is how it's... It does look a little bit weird still. Yeah, like the jagged edges here are not supposed to be that. You're really supposed to add it twice, but this can't be right. Because what this is doing is it's setting it to this, so you can't be adding it twice. Yeah, this didn't look like this before. The IoT stuff boring? I'm not sure what that is. What I was kind of planning on doing was like making some... I don't know. I want to like maybe do some like software emulation or something. I think that that's like a good intersection of like what I find interesting and maybe like useful stuff, you know? Maybe it's this. But I feel like I had that before. Hold on, did I mess up the constructor? Yeah, I did mess up the constructor. Oh yeah, so that's just me being dumb, like legitimately so stupid, my bad. I was like so confused. I was like, what is the problem? Oh, I put it to a default thing in the constructor because I was copying and pasting. Oh, I'm stupid. Minecraft style cave generation, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like there are some patterns that you can like discover here where it's like it is still a bit rough, but it's, yeah, it is still a bit rough, but there's some patterns that are like really cool, like fabric simulation sort of things that end up happening. But that's my favorite thing about Lenia is that it's not really a cellular simulation, or at least that's not what I like about it. The part that I like about it is that it's kind of like an art piece sort of thing, you know? Like, to me, when I saw Lenia, I didn't think, oh, it's so cool to simulate life, like, or math, or, you know, it's just like a fucking art piece, like how things end up. I think it would be really sick if I could get the frame rate up even further, but I also want to like add shaders. Right now there's no shader or anything. I could definitely do a pixel shader. What's also happening is weird is this this on the back side. Like I don't think this was happening earlier. It looks like the normals are flipped and so the light is backwards, where the whole thing should be black. Yeah, I'm still not sure if I'm doing the normal stuff correctly. Basically what I'm doing is I'm averaging the normals inside of the main buffer as I go along. and I'm just like trying to stitch them up afterwards. It's like turning on your home lights over the internet. I see. I'm not really sure if I'd be that interested in it. Like I took a look at like all the, yeah, this is still happening. Interesting. Yeah, I took a look at all of the whatchamacallit, I'm like having a brain fart here. I took a look at all of the microcontroller stuff, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not that interested in the whole maker thing, to be honest. For a decent time with my ray tracer, it was only fast enough to take screenies. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's rough. I think making game engines for companies? I feel like modern graphics programming is so different from the stuff that I do, you know? I like the low-level stuff and the systems shit and the, you know, I don't know. And the memory layout stuff and the figuring out how to get it to work thing, you know? As what we are talking about here, it's like we kind of like the shit that's like not, you know, exactly like, you know, calling an API just to do it for us or whatever. I like the whole, you know, pain in the ass sort of painful stuff. Yeah, I'll definitely think about doing a ray tracer. I don't really know what I'm gonna do next, to be honest. I have a PS2, so I might try to like make it a PS2 emulator. I think that might be fun. But it's a cool layout. Thanks. It's just the default Visual Studio 2008. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here with the normals. From what I can assume, right? It's that we're getting offset and then going off the board. Like I'm that border, by the way, is x equals 0, and so I'm gonna assume that that's, at least I think that that's x equals 0. Because maybe I want to make so much stuff just for the sake of it. Yeah. I love that too. Like when I was first doing some of the stuff, like I just loved all the trippy shit that I was making, you know? Like all the UI stuff, even the UI stuff, like, you know, it was just so cool to be able to take things to where people didn't take them before, like making, you know, sliders that when you interact with them, they animate themselves, you know, and things like that. That stuff is what I find like so fucking fun. I like the whole artsy fartsy kind of part about it, you know. Even though that stuff is a pain in the ass, but that's what I like about it. Yeah, so if I wonder if, no, we can't, because this offset is always positive. These offsets are always positive, right? Yeah, they're always positive. And so if it was at 0, we would still be getting a 0. We'd still be getting it at 0, right? I wonder if somehow I'm like one off though. And that's why that one face is not working. Maybe the vertices are not. Oh, yeah, that's sad. Yeah, no, I mean, no, billion-dollar companies, I think, honestly, do probably worse jobs than single people, and that's why I don't want to work for a billion-dollar company. I just kind of, like, my dream is just, like, working on, like, I don't know, some, like, software for, like, something, like, I don't know, interesting, with just, a like, a 5 or 10 chill people, you know, sort of thing. What am I doing? I'm making a sort of like an artistic simulation thing. Like what is this breakpoint that I'm setting? Like I index into this. Is it possible that this is the problem? If we are max threads -1, but they're split in the other direction. Okay, so the easy way for us to test this is just to go single threaded and see if it works or not. Yeah, I mean, I can't really explain what I'm doing. I like, you know, people ask me like, you know, what am I doing? And I usually say I'm making a cellular simulation, but it isn't really a cellular simulation, is it? So I can't really explain it. It's 3D art with convolution. That's what it is. This is one thread, that's why it's slow, by the way. Yeah, exactly. I definitely want maybe my work to blow up, I guess. I just don't think that that's gonna happen. I'm pretty fucking niche, you know what I mean? I don't really make, you know. Yeah, I'm trying to like see what exactly... From what it seems like the normals, right? It seems like the normals are flipped. That's probably the problem. Just on that edge, though. At some points on that edge. Could it be the winding of these? Yeah, that's really smart. That's I mean, that's what I did for my bloom. Was I just I did it at quarter resolution actually. But it was kind of hard because of you get like these shimmering effects when you upscale it. So I had to do some weird stuff with it. I had to mint map it actually, which was very strange. It's like, you know, probably the most janky thing I've ever done. Mint mapping a screen buffer texture. I don't want to kick off the new year. Yeah, I like, it's just like crazy to me that that the normals just don't seem to work on that face. I guess I could figure out what face that is. I don't know if it's X or Z. Is kind of the problem. But we could, okay. Yeah, let's just make a breakpoint. That is if GZ is grid width -1. Int rob equals 0. Have to give the Rob shout out. Oh shit, my bad, I'm not in debug mode. No ad block? No, I don't use ad block. Yeah, sorry, this is not like the most you know, exciting outing today, but whatever. Okay, so GZ is 31. That's exactly what we want. And now let's step through exactly what happens with the normals here. Brother, you gotta tell me that we're getting into this function, brother. What are you smoking? It's all -1. Okay. Now GZ is 4. TA does not play a noise with unstable noise pattern. Yeah, what is Luma? What is Luma? Okay. Okay, Rob, you're not working for me today. You're just not working for me. Rob, why are all your vertices -1? Tell me right fucking now. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, I'll try it next time, bro. The noise doesn't exist in motion vectors. Interesting. Yeah, I assume that it's similar to like the ray tracing denoising stuff, right? I say that like I have any clue what I'm talking about. I really have no clue what I'm talking about. Okay, you know what I think, okay, so here's what I think. I think the reason why it's -1 is because we actually have nothing on the end. So, I feel like I'm just stupid sometimes. Like legitimately very stupid. It sucks that we have to wait because debug mode is so slow, but you know, some of the Luma-based denoiser, yeah, I thought so. Why is, oh. Okay. Okay, bring us down here, Rob. Okay, there we go. Okay, lock in. Okay, I mean... Yeah, I don't know what I expected to fucking find. uh... Okay, here's what I wanna test. Okay, I finally figured out what I want to test, and what I want to test is just like not doing any edge deduplication completely, and just actually doing the full thing, and see if this is incorrect. It's hard to tell. Should have probably made it multi-threaded. It does almost feel like it, doesn't it? Okay, so it is persistent. It isn't just an edge deduplication thing. It's literally that the normals get flipped on this side, because it's light when it's supposed to be dark. On the edge. Limit denoising is just taking the radius of luminance samples around a pixel and using them to calculate an average. It smooths out all the high. I see. I see. Interesting. That is interesting. So it's basically just I guess it's kind of like a Gaussian thing, but with luminance, I guess. High variance over multiple frames. Interesting. Yeah, I'd assume that there has to be some blurriness, I guess, that would happen with the colors, right? TA is just an advanced blur filter, yeah. It's blurring across frames. It's crazy. Yeah, I have no clue what's going on with the normals flipping. If it's literally happening without this, then I actually would assume that it has to do with this, with our normal calculation here. And I have no clue how to fix that. Let's actually, yeah, this actually wouldn't change anything. I think it's got to do with, if we go into actual marching cubes, it could be actually some of this. Like, I think that if we maybe swap some of them, it might change the basis and we'll be fine. Because I think one of these seemed backwards, so let's just go through it. So we go across, right? So first of all, this seems like it would be 3, 0. If I'm thinking about that correctly. Then 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 4, 7. So these match, but let's just try 7, 4, 0, 4, 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7. Okay, let's try it. Beautiful Cuban comment. Yeah, thanks. It's not mine, but thank you regardless. The way TA is blend up, you can manipulate this to blend in. Nah, yeah, this still happens. I wonder if it happens with every Z-facing thing, because it doesn't appear to. Let's see, it happens here as well, when it hits the wall. Rock simulator? What does that mean? I'm not a rock. If you have animated textures, it'll try to blend them. Interesting. Yeah, all that stuff is fascinating. It was so cool to see the disgusting, you know, distortions earlier. Oh wait, do we have that normal flipping code? We do have this, which we could technically do, which is, it dots it with our forward vector, but I feel like that's not what we want. That's kind of cheating, right? I have Windows XP because I have it on my computer. Mask, so for animated texture you can tone down the effect. Remake the bug. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, like I said, there's got to be like some interesting stuff that you could do with that. Like, I feel like a John Blow type of puzzle game with, you know, moving your camera around like that. It could possibly be like a thing, I feel like. Since I know the direction that I need them to go in, I could literally... The previous and current made optical flow. Optical flow. I feel like just negating it if we're, you know, if it's against our forward vector is probably just like incredibly dumb for me to do, but oh my god, I'm just fucking being so stupid. Anyway, I was supposed to be stitching the normals today and now I got stuck on this. Yeah, now the normals are just messed up. Yeah, that doesn't even fix the problem. Okay, well, whatever. I'll figure that out later. I probably like have to flip the normals if it's facing that direction and just like hard code it in, because it's impossible to mesh everything correctly with the normals. I feel like the winding of the points at some point is out of my control, so I probably have to like just hard code it and figure that out. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna make a buffer per thread that has data to swap. The previous frame and current motion from the difference. Optical flow accelerators, block matching. You're speaking a totally different language right now. That's crazy. Motion vector from images without a G buffer. Wow. It just automatically does that and gives you the texture? That's nuts. That is nutso. So we have two bounds, right? We have the lower and the upper, right? So I think we can just like have them separate. Lower border. And it's going to be indexed by axis, and then this. Yeah. We might have to allocate that. But that's what it's going to look like. And then you have an upper border, right? And the idea is that each thread has the lower and upper bound for their slice, and we need to, every time we get a point that falls on those border, we just put it in here, and then later we just find them across, right? And so this is actually going to be a D word. D word stands for dang it. Is that lossless scaling? Does frame generation? This is optical flow. They moved from dedicated optical flow hardware to an AI. Wow. I assume that your GPU can do that as well. That's cool. I wonder why most people don't take advantage of that, or maybe they do and I'm just too stupid to see it. Only you can, for instance, detect motion. Yeah. Wait, really? That's so crazy. I never knew about that. That is crazy. That is pretty funny. D word is signed, right? No, it's unsigned. Okay, well, we need an integer. My bad. We need a signed integer. I'm reading CSAPP, and it's like, it's so crazy how like the first few chapters are like things that I've learned the hard way, and it's just like inside of a book. I don't know. It's so funny to see that and just be like, oh. Tell me I could have just read a book instead? That's crazy. That's crazy that people just like get away with reading a book and not just staring at their screen and wondering what the fuck is going on for like 20 20 hours a day. Tell lossless scaling gets motion. It doesn't inject into the game's memory to do it. That's crazy that it can get it from your screen though. So it's like screen capturing all the time? Or do you like set it up to do that? Yeah, that's insane. That is insane. So if we need to define the upper and lower, or can we just use this? It would be if yeah, but this is if POX is if it's section, right? If it's section or end, I think. Section or POX equals end, then we will add it onto the well, we actually need to know, right? So this is going to be lower border. The capture thingy? Oh, I see. Just hooks into the game window. How does it? Do they have like things for Linux as well? It's interesting that it's operating system specific. You can use it and other means to generate a sort of G buffer. That's interesting. Do people use that for like, I don't know, Discord or whatever nowadays? I wouldn't really know. So the axis is going to be EI, and then we just index it by, I think we're gonna use POX, POY, and POZ, I think. Or maybe actually we just use GX, GY, and GZ because the axis determines. No, it doesn't. You need the axis and this, so we actually need to compute it. Okay, so actually instead of doing this, we'll have that same layout, but we already have this. Actually, we don't need to do this. We already have this, so it's literally just edge array. Yeah, so it's it's just that there. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay. Games without injection? Reshade. Oh, that's how reshade works. CRT something. Interesting. Yeah, from what I understood, like reshade was pretty expensive, but it could do some amazing things, right? Reshade works nothing like this. Oh, I see. You're saying that it's not like reshade. I see. Invasive. So it actually, that injects into your thing? That's crazy. It's actually insane. So what you're saying is that this stuff can like display on top, basically, of what you're seeing? The thing is, we have to do this single threaded afterwards. So we can't even do... Oh no, we can do that. We can't do that. What we want to do though is we want to... Now when we're looping through here, we need to loop through beforehand here. Through all of the max threads. And then like stitch across. It sucks that we have to go through the entire array. Upscalers, anti-aliasers. Actual lighting effects. It's possible though, right? It's definitely possible. If you can do everything else, then yeah, surely you can do lighting. Have you been thinking about giving that a try? Yeah, the problem is, how do I actually iterate this and not have it be super expensive now? I think, yeah, this is cursed. I know what I'm about to do right now is super cursed, but we actually need to have a another index buffer that goes through each of these. Well, the worst thing is that it's per axis as well. Oh, God. How expensive is what I'm about to do? What frame extrapolation? I have no clue what that is. I mean, in terms of interpolation, extrapolation? Block matching containing logic to allow. That's awesome. Yeah, yes. Yeah, send it. Send it. I'll take a look at it. What we're about to do is super curse. I mean, the worst thing is that my thing isn't indexed very easily. I guess I could flatten this out and it would make it a lot easier. For now, let's just loop through all of it. I know that it's really bad. So this is going to be axis, and then we need to loop through all three. This is like incredibly expensive what I'm doing here, but not doing it this way right now was just going to be very complex. So I'm just going to get this done, and then we can do it the better way, which is to do indices and like an actual thing. Is frame generation extrapolation? It manipulates the frame you already got to make new frames. Doesn't require prior frames. It manipulates the frame you already got to make new frames. That's interesting. It actually generates frames from your matrices. Huh. I have no clue how that would mathematically work out, to be honest. That sounds insane. How does it just like generate from matrices? That sounds bizarre. Run ancient hardware too. I'm assuming, wait. Yeah, I've got to look this up. That sounds really interesting. That does sound really interesting, actually. The fucked up part about this is that we have to do this, we have to do this 2 times because for the upper and lower border. So if I0 doesn't equal -1, then we will search for so it's going to be lower will always go to okay, so hold on. So if I is greater than 0, because you can't go into the negative, right? People have known about it for years. Reflex 2. Game mode. Force and lower latency at the same time. I've got to look this up. This sounds like super mathematically interesting. If you said that it can work on older hardware, I'm definitely interested in taking a look at it. That looks incredible. So we need to go lower. So TDI minus 1 dot upper border. I called it update border. What? No, I didn't. What the hell's wrong with me? What? I did not call it that. I did, apparently. Yeah. This is cursed, what I'm doing here. Only seen it in VR games. There's a demo in Unity that shows it off. Yeah, send it. I'm very interested in it. I wonder what it looks like. Based on what you're saying, it's hard to imagine. We need to average the normals of these 2 points together in the index of the array. So that's going to be tdi.v indexed by I0. Right. We have to get the normals out and then add them together. This is so incredibly expensive what I'm doing right now. Do not look. I can optimize it later, but I need to make sure that this method is working. And then we just want to get the other one from I minus 1 will be this one. Okay. Imagine a plane in front of you that's the same size as your viewport. When your screen is frozen waiting for a frame, you can move that frame with the camera matrix. Mouse reprojection. Huh. So what I'm assuming is that you have to have the entire scene like rendered beyond just the view frame, right? For that to work, you have to like render more at once, right? Swap chain needs to be decoupled. Yeah, so let's just do this then. And then we will just swap it back into hopefully this doesn't actually need to happen for that many vertices a frame. It technically shouldn't. Technically. But it might be a problem. It might be a problem. And if you're someone is probably going to be like, you know, why not just use a Vec3 and just copy it in? It's like, does not understand the pain of D3D. Okay. Okay, so that should be the lower bound completed. That should be the lower bound completed. Looking for the block matching vid. That adds frame interpolation. Yeah, I've got to check that out. I'm guessing that frame interpolation just... How do you... I don't know. How do you find the frame that it's going to happen and then you interpolate between them to generate a new frame? Like, it's kind of like a back buffer, but even with more, you know, I guess... It's not else. Back buffer is needed for interpolation. Yeah. I was talking about interpolation. Extrapolation sounds crazy though. It does. It sounds pretty difficult to do though. You would have to like write your entire renderer based on that, right? Use the model matrix and camera matrix. Yeah. Yeah, it still does sound pretty difficult to pull off. Okay, so this is just all going to be +1. I could have just literally done this just with a sign changing, but whatever. I don't really care. Okay. Okay, I need to change this to I-1. And technically I think I'm okay to compile. I doubt that we're going to though. Yeah. Does not define this operator. Oh. Axis dot edges. There we go. Do I know Rust? I used to do Rust, yeah. A frame is frozen, you can just swap over to the reprojected space. Switches back and forth while waiting for a frame. Yeah. That does sound really good. I would have no idea how to do that though. Actually, this is kind of what I'm doing currently, but not... Yeah, that's kind of what I'm actually doing here. I mean, it's probably not exactly like it, but I basically have multi-threading happening in the background to create a new mesh. And that's actually kind of similar to what's happening. Normalized identifier not found. Did I put this in the header? Low latency. Yeah, I'd imagine it would be hard with like entities or things moving around, right? I didn't put this in the header. Oh, this is single threaded, isn't it? So. Alright, let's see. Let's see with 4. If we did it. No, I still see a border between them. Yeah. I think it's actually not as bad as it was before, but it's still definitely there. I guess my indexing is probably wrong, huh? Yeah, I've got to look at toying around with that. That does sound like something I would be interested in. Yeah, I'll take a look at them. Thanks for you know, telling me about all this. It's very, very interesting. How do I make you work? Just thinking about how I could use it to get smooth ray tracing. Yeah, that would be. It would be hard. It's like. I think it's probably possible like graphically, but it's probably hard to like make anything in terms of like real time stuff happening if you're gonna be delaying actual frames, right? So that you would have to be like relying a lot on, I don't even know. Flat screen game, I know they use it. Really? They have a lot of like moving entities though, huh? Oh, I don't actually set this to a value. I just like wrote, oh yeah, index into it. I didn't actually set it to. Oh, that's funny. I just simply forgot to do that. Excel makes new frames. The engine still runs beyond the seams. Just waiting for the renderer. It's actually creating new frames very efficiently without delaying any. That does sound like extremely complicated to do and hard to make like seamless. Okay, this just works. Yeah, it just works. Now, is it efficient? Hell no, it's not efficient. Hell no, it's not efficient. But hey, it worked. There are no, there are still some, it isn't exactly smooth. Frame interpolation uses the prior and current to make a new one. So like 4x, it's ping pong between 8 frames. Yeah, it's hard to exactly like understand how it would work because, yeah. Like for example, like if like a light turns on in between the frames, like how do you deal with that, right? Like oh, okay. It kind of works. There is still some issues with some. Yeah, there is still some issues for sure. It's nearly seamless, but it's not entirely seamless. There's just like some rough edges that happen, like there. It's kind of not noticeable though. Like here it's only slightly noticeable. But I think that is kind of actually impossible to do because I don't think that that's even, or maybe it is a normal issue. I mean, adding them together and then normalizing them should be fine, right? Maybe I should divide them by 2 instead of just like raw normalizing them. Maybe that's like adds in like some imprecision maybe. I think maybe I divide by 2 instead. It is a lot better, but it isn't perfect. Yeah, I think maybe that isn't a normals thing. Or I don't know. I think it only uses the camera matrix now. Yeah, I guess my question would be like, I don't know. It sounds like so hard to do because you're basically having to take the previous state and then make sure that the world, whatever happens in the frame, follows that previous state, even though you aren't, like, you know, I assume you're not like in the shader going over the frame, or maybe you are. Yeah, it just seems like lighting would be so hard to do in that case. I think that's pretty much what I'm doing here. You don't do lighting in projected space? I think that's literally what I'm doing here, because all of the frame stuff is happening in a different time. The only stutter I have here is because of simulation steps, right? But that's what's happening, right? So that's why this is like 25 FPS or whatever, but the actual, like, my inputs are not. And so what that looks like in terms of frame time here is this, right? So all of this stuff is the simulation step, which is 0.03 basically, right? Which is basically 30 FPS. But then the rendering happens after for 0.02. And so what happens is that we basically we get inputs for like double of the frames than we do. And I guess fully decoupling this would look like doing everything multi-threaded in the background, right? Which is something that I could technically do, right? Like I could make a thread that does all of the simulation stuff in the background, and then it would be fully decoupled, basically. But that would be kind of dangerous to do. The thread stuff is already so dangerous. But I think that's basically what's happening, at least if I understand it. It's like, yeah, that's basically what's happening here. Is that like, so what happens exactly here is that once I finish a simulation step, I go into the rendering loop, and so I set everything to 0, and then I set an event for all of the worker threads, and then I keep on just like going through the message loop, right? And that's like all of the inputs, etc., all of the, you know, just like WASD and stuff. And then once we're done, only then do I you know, present the next frame. And so that happens over like 0.003 seconds. So that's why it looks like 25, but then I can walk around in 60. But the reason why it's not in 60 is because of the simulation step, which has to happen before the rendering, which I haven't decoupled yet. But that's basically what's going on, actually. Let's see, it projects the pixels to the depth. Yeah, I'm sure what it's doing is more complicated than what I'm doing for sure. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. So that's what it's doing in terms of like that I see. Yeah, so that's what it's doing. It's distorting it. That is. Yeah, I wonder why that isn't used more. I feel like that could be taken further, for sure. Yeah, so this I mean, it works good enough to the point where I'm like, I'm fine with it, and also these numbers are pretty solid. Like 0.02 is pretty good, actually. It's pretty solid, actually. I'd kind of be interested to see what it looks like with dividing by 2 instead of normalizing completely. Do I have a function that does that? That just divides by 2? Relate edge, normal index, grid index, vectory, add, vectory mul, vectory scale. Yeah, we could try that instead. It should be the exact same, but I'm interested. I don't know. Maybe it's like some floating point in distribution. When you clamp the edges, yeah. It's industry standard in VR games. Oh. It's kind of amazing the fact that you can't... Oh, this looks worse. It's kind of amazing the fact that you can't notice it, I guess. Like, I would assume that you might be able to notice it. Like, if, like, the right side of your vision was a little bit lower resolution when you moved around a lot, but... Then again, I've never played anything with VR. So I don't really know what it feels like. It's fast in motion. Yeah, I'd imagine maybe it like feels like motion blur or something. Just a little bit. So you don't really notice it. Maybe it's like different for a game though. Because in a game, I guess your eyes naturally can like go to the sides, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's like a VR. Notice the clamping if you go for that. Yeah, I'm sure it definitely feels better than low FPS, for sure. For sure. It probably makes games playable on lower end hardware. In fact, I think that that's pretty interesting. Like, maybe if you made something that implemented that in games, like some sort of utility that made games playable on low end hardware by making low FPS, high FPS in terms of gameplay. That could be interesting. That's like $1 million idea right there. Now, I'm not saying that that would be easy, And I'm not saying that that would be legal. Like, NVIDIA would probably send, like, hitmen after you or whatever. But I think it's nonetheless a cool idea. So what the Unity demo uses is just clamp to border viewport. Whoa. And that just happens for one frame, right? Or something like that, where it stretches. That's just kind of like an exaggerated sort of thing. I mean, I'm not that like crazy unhappy with this result, so I think we can definitely do it in a more efficient way if we weren't just doing this disgusting looping sort of thing. How I would do it is actually, like, this is kind of painful actually to not do this, but I have an idea. We're just gonna have to make another SOA thing. There's other ways to fill that blank space, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that if it was done well, it could be like unnoticeable or less noticeable, right? Yeah, I actually totally think that that's like $1 million idea. If you made something that like even injected into games, that like implemented that so that those games would be playable, that would probably be crazy. So instead of edge array, we're gonna have another struct that's just this. Don't ask why. It requires a lot of effort, yeah. But I mean, I feel like that would be so useful. Like, so many people can't play AAA games, you know? SOA is so cursed. And now we're just going to index into it. This way. We're just going to index into it this way. That way, it's not only more cache friendly, but it's also, we can literally have inside of here, we can have another array called border edge lower indices, so that we don't have to loop through the whole thing. We just go straight to the indices. Which is, it should technically be faster. The panning the camera bit is actually very easy to make. There's an alternative called mouse reprojection reflex 2. Actually, it doesn't do camera space reprojection, but it only does mouse. Extrapolation, panning the camera to walk around in a freeze frame. What's the benefit to that over the full extrapolation? Is there a benefit? Yeah, so when we do this, I'm going to add into I have to add into this. So yeah, so we actually need, yeah, this is kind of cursed, but something so simple can become so complicated if you let it. Only requires color buffer. Oh, I see. I feel like the benefit of doing the full extrapolation has to be worth it, though. Why? Why did IntelliSense? I sense that something is wrong. Oh. Oh, that's border array. I meant. Yeah. Yeah, I got that. I feel like the camera must not even be worth it. Because then, if you can't move, then it's just gonna feel super bad to play, right? It must feel like super disjointed. This is also pretty cursed what I'm doing, but theoretically it should be better. Oh wait, actually, what am I doing? 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 There we go. I totally forgot the entire point of what I was doing. The part that people notice at most is low FPS or stutters. The camera freezing up, not walking around. Yeah, I guess. I feel like for me, it's like if my like inputs don't have like good response time, especially if it's like a game that requires that, then it just like feels super difficult to play. I always like get upset when I'm playing something with like lower FPS because I can literally like my inputs like fuck up or whatever. But yeah. Try the demo out. Yeah, I'll definitely try it out. It is interesting. I can see how that could help like pushing the boundaries of some hardware for sure. Yeah, that does make sense, I guess. Like everybody, in terms of like refresh rate, people love the really high FPS stuff. Yeah. Gotta be hard to do though. Gotta be hard to do, for sure. So now instead of looping any of this, we literally just loop through the indices. Oh, yeah, but this requires... Wait, if I do this... No, this needs to be the index into here. And then I need to flatten this. Got it. Okay, so I have to flatten it then. Which does suck. So, in fact, everything is going to have to end up this layout. What I was trying to avoid, but it should technically be faster. Our pirate. Technically. I hate writing this out so many times. Okay, there we go. So that goes there, and then this. Okay, we should just do this. Nice and easy. Okay. Slightly complicated, but no big deal. No big deal. We also have to memset those now though, which that does really suck, but you do have to do it. I've got to clean this up at some point, but we're just going to, yeah, -1. It shouldn't really matter since we have a count for it, but yeah. Actually, yeah, just fill it with zeros. We're just going to now loop through the count once, and that's it. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Thanks for showing me all this stuff. This is sick. How do you find out about all this stuff? Did you just like just stumble upon it? Reading something? Okay, yeah. So actually this still needs to be per axis. Yeah, so let's just rewrite it. Okay. The nesting is disgusting. Yeah, I know. having to see you back in light mode. Yeah. What's up, man? This reprojection is just placing a plane where your camera is instead of a frame freezing. Separate camera space for the projection. Yeah. Light mode is blinding. Yeah, I've been really enjoying it though. I don't know. I think it's like interesting, like that people, for example, like reading books, right? Like reading books is light mode pretty much all the time, unless you like have a Kindle or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I've always loved reading books, and so for me, like having it dark mode default like all the time. Now I'm kind of enjoying light mode because I like it's like similar to reading, or at least feels similar to reading, you know. I think that there's also like probably a good reason why maybe there isn't, but I feel like there has to be a good reason why I guess I feel like there has to be a reason why. Does this work? Why reading is light mode? I don't know. My sister just came home. I did stream it with like dark mode for a long time though, so that is black background on white text is like cursed for reading. Yeah, yeah. I think that's a part of it, and also like I don't know. I've been enjoying it. I might not have it. I might not have it like all the time, but for me, I've like noticed that like having like more syntax highlighting than the simple stuff. I really like not having syntax highlighting because it makes me read my code more critically, I think. Like it makes me actually read it instead of just like looking at the types and the colors and just, you know, I think at least for me it's helped me make less bugs. Yeah, so let's just write it like this. This is like so much easier to do it like this. Yeah. But then again, I am like a very peculiar person. Like I like things that most other people don't like. Just because I'm fucking bizarre, I guess. But dude, like, please work with me here. E. Okay. Okay. If I did all that correct, it should work. I think so. Upper indices should technically. Oh, it doesn't actually map. Oh, actually, it should technically map because they are the exact same. Fuck off, Rob. For an engine scripting, I don't have any color coding. Really? I don't know. I like not having the... I don't know. Like, what I was getting into the habit of, like, when I had, like, more syntax highlighting, was I would just, like, read over the same line of code and then just miss it. You know what I mean? Like, miss what I was actually doing. I would do that a lot, where I would just, like, you know, skim, right? And, now I'd like to actually just have everything the same color because it, I don't know. But, yeah. Do with Lua, yeah. Okay. Okay. What is the problem? Oh, hold on. Wait, no. Oh, fuck. Yeah, this is... Oh. This is so cursed, what I'm doing here. People are saying, like, oh, put this on GitHub, put this on GitHub. Man, you do not want to read this code. You just don't want to read it. Everybody asks me to do SOA, and then when I do SOA like this, they're like, oh, so disgusting. Like function names, statements like if and for. Yeah, function names is nice. Function names is nice. I just don't like types anymore being, and I don't like arrays. I don't like operators, that sort of thing. The function names are nice. Okay, so apparently I'm missing. Uh-oh. Oh my god, I missed a fucking. As you hate to see when it's a missed. That's the worst type of thing. I feel like it's got to be that. this is that, that is that, that is that, that is that, and that is that. That is that, and that is that. Okay. Okay. Missing what? Oh, I'm missing that. Okay. We have compiled. Okay, I feel like that's faster. I feel like that's probably faster. It's kind of hard to tell. We didn't actually put a timer to profile it before and after. I feel like it's pretty fast though. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I want to get it even faster than this. I also want to like try for a bigger grid size as well. Like, I want to try for like, I know like 48 is probably too much. 48 is probably too much, to be honest. But I feel like we might be able to push it even more. I don't know what's going to break if I try to do this. By the way, it gets exponentially more complex with the grid sizes. Yeah. So it's just not going to allocate the buffer. First change window title. Yeah, I haven't done that. Even though but that's my bad. I just have been so lazy. So that's my bad. We're gonna be Lenia now. I can't change. The other one is the class name, so. Oh, there we go. We're Lenia now. Okay, so it's actually gonna just run out of memory, so yeah, I literally can't do it. So, yeah. Like DirectX is like actually like, what, are you insane? That many vertices? You need that many vertices and you need them to be dynamic? Are you kidding me? You can't make that work. And I'm like, yes, I can make it work. Do I need to download more RAM? I do. It's actually literally just VRAM. And if I was able to put this in D3D pool manage, then it would work. But it doesn't let me because they're dynamic buffers. So I could probably do it in not dynamic buffers, but it would probably run like shit. Let's try it. Yeah, it allows me to now. But it's gonna run like absolute dog water. Okay. Or it's just not gonna draw anything. That's cool. No, yeah, you can't do it with a non-dynamic buffer. It's just not gonna work. Because it sees me like unlocking and locking a dynamic buffer a bunch of times, and then it's just going to, you know. Because I think the D3D pool default puts it into. I sent a video of 10 FPS versus. See, it's a world of difference. Yeah, I know you sent me a lot, and I'm gonna look at all of it. Because it is very interesting. Okay, well, I feel like I didn't do that much today, but I mean, I stitched the vertices, and then I switched, I split up the buffers. Did I do anything today? I stitched them. What did I do? I feel like I did something. I just can't remember. I stitched the buffers. I split the buffers. Man. I didn't do shit, did I? Oh, man. My bad. That's alright. That's alright. Wait, so I totally forgot. I wanted to check the I wanted to check. Let's try 36. Maybe we get away with 36. Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Oh shit, we do get away with 36. Wow. Crazy. I mean, it is a lot slower, so. WASD no longer work, so. I feel like that's probably not good, right? I wanted to see the frame time. See how it's looking. Yeah, WASD don't work, so. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's so with 4 more in width, we are like that much slower, which is incredibly so much slower. So, yeah. I wonder if me changing the window name actually broke the controls. So I'm gonna change it back to hello. Sorry, Rob. I've got to figure that out. Change to Rob? Nah, it's no. Okay. Maybe work? No. Okay. So still rendering is actually, dominating. The fact that we have to mesh 3 different views at once, that's probably what it's all about right now. I don't know how we're gonna make that better, to be honest. But I gotta think of something. I don't think that we can just cheat our way with simmed through it, in terms of the rendering stuff. Unless I'm stupid. But, yeah. I might be back later today. Later tonight, but it is my birthday, and so I need to spend some time with my family. They made me a nice dinner, so I may be back though, because I know I didn't get anything done today. It is my birthday. It's kind of like I'm getting super old. Like when I was younger, I used to get so psyched for my birthday. Like in my early 20s, I was like so psyched when it's like, oh, I can drink alcohol now. And then it was like, oh, I can do this now or do that now. And now it's just like, I'm on the other half, It's like, birthdays are no longer a celebration. But yeah. For my birthday, I asked my parents to get me, a couple of programming books, and so that's that. And they got me a new desk. It's like a big, cheap desk, but it's nice because now I get to have a lot more space to have both of these computers, and so that's really sick too. All right. Thanks for watching. I might be back later, yeah. But yeah. Notice the depth cut out its face. You like a billboard? Oh, I see. Yeah, that's cool. All right, peace out.